G'day viewers and welcome to another totally fucked up Friday. As usual, so much to pick from, I'm going to start with an alternative definition of fucked up. I've used that to be bad things, but of course we often say when affected by substances and having too much of a good time, we refer to being fucked up. And this comes up because this week was Logies week in Australia. Biggest night in Australian TV. It's the equivalent of the Emmys. But we don't have the equivalent of the Oscars, so it's the biggest night for Australian entertainment. And there's a long tradition of people getting hammered and embarrassing themselves. And it's being kept up by one Karl Stefanovic, who actually hosts the Today program in the morning, which means starting very early. And Logies night goes really late. And I don't know whose advice he was taking, but Karl decided to rock straight on to his morning job after a big Logies night. Now, most people are being careful not to say Karl was pissed out of his brain because he might sue them because they didn't breathalyze him. But let's just say Karl found a lot of stuff very amusing. Very, very amusing. I will link you to some video examples. You tell me, was Karl totally fucked up or what? I just want to point out, I'm not condemning him for his actions. Hey, I'm down with the Karlmeister. It's a tradition. It's a grand tradition with a long history in Australia. Get pissed on camera for everyone to see. Karl, this is your first step to being a legend. In other totally fucked up news, German anatomist Gunther von Hagens is stirring up a bit of shit in his native Germany. If you've never heard of the man, he's famous for setting up art exhibitions with preserved corpses. He uses a process he calls plastination to preserve the bodies and then flays the skin to varying degrees, showing off muscle and bone and posing them in all sorts of ways. Some people say art, some people say educational, some people say disgusting. Apparently he hasn't had enough controversy lately, so for his latest exhibition he posed two corpses in a simulated sex position. This has got conservative politicians in Germany up in arms, saying the show should be banned. I think they want him burned at the stake, and they're all too fucking stupid to know they're playing right into his hands. If you don't like a controversial artist, ignore them. That's how to get rid of them. Fucking ignore them. Don't give them free publicity, you totally fucked up idiots. And finally, I want to talk about a man who really personifies totally fucked up. Damir Docik. Now, most Australians will know who that guy is. Other people who aren't tennis fans might need an explanation. Damir Docik was a Serbian who became a naturalised Australian and did quite well in women's tennis, getting to number 4 on the women's circuit before having her life totally fucked up by her insane father, Damir! He's essentially famous for chucking huge dummy spits and acting in an utterly insane manner. Got him banned from tennis all around the world. In fact, I think he's banned from entering most countries these days. Elena dumped him after a few years, and he keeps going on about how the world is out to get him, glossing over the fact he's fucking insane. Most recently, Damir was upset with an interview his daughter Elena gave, where she said he abused her, made her life hell, said stuff like, I don't know, my dad's insane and fucks watermelons. Something like that. Now, most people will get upset when their kids badmouth them and they don't want to talk to the media themselves. No, Damir didn't do that. He issued a threat to the Australian embassy in Serbia saying he was going to attack it with a rocket launcher. And then he said, oh, now that I've said that, I suppose the police will arrest me. To which the police said, good plan, let's go. So police raided his house and found a lot of guns, which is apparently legal because he registered them. So crazy, insane, psycho motherfuckers who threaten everyone they meet and get banned from countries all around the world are allowed to have guns so long as they register them. That's cool. But he had bombs too, and the bombs were a bit too far for the police, so he's been arrested. This sort of behaviour is so well known to Australians. If someone says they're throwing a Damir, most people know it means having a huge dummy spit. But if you think you've got what it takes, you think you can throw a Damir, dummy spitting, that's only the start. First, act as if the world owes you everything, even though you personally never did anything to deserve it. Then, when people don't bow down before you, then you have the dummy spit. And the final icing on the cake, when you get called on being a wanker, act in the most insane manner possible and say it's a conspiracy to get you, ignoring the fact you're a fucking face. That's throwing it, Damir, and that is totally fucked up.